Money is a blade, he would say often, and we are men with no arms. We cannot take what is so dependable on reach. In the quiet, I would see the aging of my father, not quite the bowhead well, but earthed as deep. While sat next to me, he continues to say, you were born with no elbows, and yet you have learnt balance. Learned that having no arms is a good thing when home is an airing cupboard you share with 6 other bodies. Money is a blade, my father says. I have seen it take to flesh like margarine, a brilliant violence. I have seen in arenas arms desperately reaching when there are more men than blades, and death is aerodynamic in its coming. We are men with no arms on this side of the family. We cannot reach to arm ourselves with blades. My father goes on saying, either way, all men must die. Bala Magulis. It is not the cut that will kill you, it is the bleeding out, my son, balance. Balance, it is balance that will stop the hemorrhage. This, you already know. It was just after your 7th birthday when you realized that your sense of balance was in your ears, knowing that the more you listened, the less you needed to take up arms to find balance. Money is a blade. This time it's me who tells my father. I have seen this too. The broad day black of flat sheets slicing goodness into little spaghetti strips from those who are desperate and those who just want more. Kids too young to know what tomorrow is invite God himself to watch them turn someone else's child into a jagged edge, seen night, no true obliteration, and wondered how the moon and stars have the courage to bring visibility to these night shrieks. Money is a blade, Father. I know the secret life of pavement berries, cocooned in fifth-hand auction cars, who just like the 4 bodies inside them should not be on the roads, young pre-Raphaelites, who only see the red in tomorrow's painting, brandishing ceramic blades that hold feeble currency. Though it took me a while, I see that these are not the ones we should fear the most. Let us look to the people in suits, walking around with knife-wrapped briefcases, descendants of swordsmiths, forgers of true Valerian steel, bloodlines of bloodmongers. Look how the light catches the bloodluster blade. Balance. Father, balance will keep you when you are standing on a knife edge and death has no friction in its coming. My father interrupts with a smile, saying, when my death comes, you'll be the man in this family. Father, I am yet too young to build a man with these hands, so don't die too soon. Stay here with me. Let us leave the building of men for another day or at least another hour. Let us not talk about death. Instead, let us sit and talk about football or Formula One. Let me tell you about Abigail and how she ate my heart in one sitting. Let me tell you things that will make you ashamed to call me son. Let us talk like strangers at a party while the moonlight clothes our back. Ignoring my words, my father continues. The Afro people say that your eyes have your age, but your ears have your father's age. Your eyes see the present and your ears hear the past. Listen, just listen to my voice. When my death comes, this is what you will inherit from me. My voice. My father's voice, the first element of being I knew back when I was a boy, before England, back in a sub-Saharan city called Jos, back when thunderstorms came to interrupt playful afternoons and the other kids hated it. I, on the other hand, would love how they reminded me of my father's voice, booming through a static connection. What was it? 95, 96, my uncle would ferry my sisters and me on the backs of Okadas to the Nital office, the Jos branch. It was there where we would wait for my father's call in a room that smelt like the runway tarmac of Heathrow Airport, or at times cornflakes. It was as if the walls heard the stories being told through the telephone and decided to seep fumes of hope through its terracotta wallpaper. That smell was insidious and taunting, but we cherished it. When my father left to go to London, I was too young to remember the comfort of his face, so his voice was my bat signal, my petri dish, teaching me that growth is possible, though I have been put in unnatural confines. So when thunderstorms came to interrupt playful afternoons and the other kids left to find shelter underneath their mothers, I stood rooted as the agenda-driven rain turned me into a talking drum. My father's voice punching through falling chandelier clouds, it was terrifying, but first beautiful. I would ask him how he fit so much voice down such small wires and why he bothered to even call a telephone when I could hear him out here. My father's voice would rumble a whisper, telling me that sometimes thunder isn't meant for the masses. It isn't meant to terrify. Sometimes thunder is just meant to be heard by that one person. My father's voice sounds like thunder, bone shaking. My father was voice, faceless, That used to bother me until I stood in the drench and saw my reflection in the puddles, thinking, if I'm my father's son, then this is what thunder must look like. Now I am a man living in England. We don't get much thunderstorms here, but we do get rain, a lot. Now my father's face is known to me. He sits with me often. His voice sounds like thunder, but in a distant land, muffled. It no longer fills the basin he reigns in, but I guess he no longer needs to. His voice will be mine one day. And until then, I enjoy the sound of thunder, knowing that I am hearing pieces of a future man that I will become. Thank you.